It's
on a Friday.
Friday.
Oh, I think that makes it better.
Good morning. It is 10:01 a.m. on Tuesday, July 23rd, 2024. Call this meeting of the Wichita County Commissioners Court to order. At this time, if everyone please rise, Commissioner Pincannon will do our invocation.
Pray with me, please. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you, Lord, for your many blessings. Thank you, Lord, for just everything you do for us every day. You know the turmoil and what's going on in our country, Lord, and I just please pray that you would be with our country. Help us come together as a country, make this still be the strongest country in the world, Lord. Be with us today as we make the decisions for the county. Give us the wisdom and the knowledge to make the best decisions possible. Please, Lord, continue to look out for our county family and just look out for all of us. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Let's join us for the pledge to the U.S. flag. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now the pledge to the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right, everyone, please be seated. All right, we will need to push off the presentation that was scheduled until next week because Kyle's in a trial. So, do we have any other presentations? Anything I'm aware of? Okay. All right, it is 10:03. We will open up for public comment. Remind everyone to keep their comments limited to 5 minutes or less, and the Commissioners Court cannot take action on any item brought up during public comment. Do we have any public comment this morning?
I'd like to say one thing.
Okay.
Just in case there's anybody watching that's paying attention to the Commissioners Court that lives in Precinct 2, I'll put this out there. We've had tons of complaints lately about mowing. We are behind on mowing, but right now we're all precincts are working together to get our chip sealing done, and there will not be any more mowing until after we get chip sealing done. Don't matter how many calls are. We can't get to it till we're done because we all work as a team doing that chip sealing. But it is definitely I am wanting to get it done as quickly as possible. That's all I have to say.
Okay. Well, I'm sure that all of the complaints will cease.
We do get our share.
Yeah. Do we have any other public comment this morning? I guess I'll just do our weekly reminder that though we thankfully got some good rains over the weekend, forecast, and it's the time of year where we're probably out of luck for a while, and so don't be stupid with potentially creating fire risk, and just keep it in the back of your mind that whatever you're doing could cause people we put in harm's way and cause destruction of property. So let's be careful out there. Anyone else? Okay, it is 10:04 and public comment is closed. So that brings us to the consent agenda. Does anyone have any questions, comments, motions on the consent agenda? I actually have one, and ask that we pull consent agenda item number 14 down to general business. Is there any objection to that?
Which
Okay.
item was that?
Do what?
Which item was that?
It's the motion to approve the public official bond for
Oh, okay.
Robin Pincannon,
Okay,
Elections
got it.
Administrator.
Judge, it looks pretty straightforward. I'd make a motion we approve with the movement of number 14.
Second.
Okay. We got a motion by Commissioner Mahler, seconded by Commissioner Pincannon to approve the consent agenda with the removal of 14 down to general business. Do we have any questions or comments on the motion or the items on the consent agenda? All right, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. That motion carries 5-0. So in general business, we'll take care of the item that was pulled down first. This is a A motion to approve the public official bond for Robin Kincannon, Elections Administrator, and authorize payment of bond premium from Department 490 with lines determined by the county auditor.
I'll make that motion, Judge.
Second.
Abstain.
We've got a motion by Commissioner Watts, seconded by Commissioner Mahler, to approve this item. Do we have any questions or comments on the motion or the item? All right, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. There being 4 ayes, no nays, and 1 abstention by Commissioner Fincannon, that motion passes. All right, that brings us to general business item number 1, discussions with Todd Murphy of Core Health on contract renewal. Unfortunately, Todd does not have cookies for y'all this morning. But Todd is here at my invitation, and just wanted to briefly introduce this before he comes up. I was visiting with him a couple of weeks ago. We were discussing the upcoming potential contract renewal, and I thought it would be a good idea to have him come update the court on Core Health's operations and some of the bigger picture improvements they've made, some of the challenges they've run into over the last year or so. And Todd may talk a little bit about this, but we're not quite there yet on a confirmed renewal, still negotiating some of the finer details and the final number that we're going to get to, but they are progressing, and I'm confident that we will be able to hammer out a deal that's a win for everybody, county and for Core Health. So with that, Todd, I'll invite you to come up to the podium. This is one more chance to have Romy do this presentation. No? Okay. All right, Todd, I'll take it away.
Thank you, Judge, Commissioners. Thanks for the invitation to be here this morning. And sorry, the cookies couldn't come with me, but next time, hopefully you don't use that against me this morning. But thanks again for the opportunity, and just want to update y'all on what we've been doing, what our focus is, and where I believe we're going in the future. As y'all know, we transitioned our team, programs, and services here on March 1st of 2020. I'm sorry, 2022. And since then, a lot has occurred. We've made a lot of achievements, and we're still facing some road bumps. As y'all know, and as you're feeling yourselves with the court and the county, with all the businesses here, we're still facing a pretty serious labor crisis, right? And that certainly includes the healthcare industry. And so, as y'all know, as we discussed before, inmate healthcare services is every county's single largest risk and liability item. It's not on the roads, it's not in patrol, it's actually in correctional healthcare. Because of the population that we serve, mental health issues, substance abuse, and it's a chronic it's a chronic population that's aging. They're sicker, and it's our responsibility to care for them and provide the same level of services, adequate level of services that are provided out in the community, and that's exactly what we're doing. But with that, the challenges are retaining, finding, recruiting, and supporting locally based, high-performing healthcare professionals, licensed RNs, LVNs, and things like that. So far, we've done a great job. Again, we've had some road bumps, and there for a while we didn't have any agency in here, and we were doing great. We were feeling great. But then, as we do well, it's sort of a cat and mouse game between us, the hospital, the VA, the base, and all the local organizations that use nurses in the area. We're all sort of competing and playing with each other. As we make a move, they make a move, and it's just the way it's just the cycle. We don't like it, but but post-COVID, that's what we're seeing. So, but just to share some of the things that we've done, some things we're pretty excited about. As y'all know, we've passed, and with flying colors, each of our Texas Commission on Jail Standards audits since we've come in. The commission likes us a lot. Our programs are what they want to see. In fact, one auditor recently said that our programs and services are what the rest of the state should be emulating. And so we have a strong program here. And Judge, as you mentioned in our conversation this morning, Detain is an auditing firm that y'all have contracted with, I want to say 3 years, something like that. And each year they've come back and said that our program is doing everything that the contract has stipulated, and that we're going above and beyond what your expectations are. And so I believe there's another report coming out soon that'll substantiate that even more. So we're awfully proud of that. As I mentioned before, we carry the county's single largest risk and liability, and a lot of that risk lies with documentation. You know, simply stated, if we can perform an action, we can provide a service and care for a patient, but if it's not documented, it doesn't happen. And so we're constantly evaluating our team members' documentation to ensure that it has all the information that we need. So with that, I've always, it's something that keeps me up at night. I have nightmares about documentation, either not being adequate or something. Sort of part of my vision in starting the company was doing more on the front end to be proactive to protect us with what we're doing to reduce our risk and liability, save lives, and make sure that we're doing the right thing. And so one of the things that I wanted to do, and that we are doing now, is random documentation audits. And just to go over a few numbers with you. So we have a few RN quality assurance nurses who work behind the scenes. You're not going to see them, you're not going to know them, but they're part of what makes us work. But all they do all day long and on weekends, 7 days a week, is they do random chart audits with each of our sites, both at intake and on the random charts. Our nurses don't know that they're in there, but they're in there. And then if our quality assurance RNs find a discrepancy or something that we could be doing better, then we let the RN HSA know about it. We coach those nurses and let them know what the expectation is, and to meet that standard. Because one thing we don't want is we don't want there to be a negative outcome, a claim, or something happen, and us scramble, go back to documentation, and then realize that we might have missed something. And so again, it's a proactive approach. It's something we're awfully proud of. It's something we're doing that no one else is, and it's working. So in 2023, last year, we conducted 444 random chart audits in Wichita County. It was our first year of doing that, implementing that program. We found some things, and we did a lot of coaching, and we're better for it. And then this year, we implemented a focused intake chart audits. So we're doing the randoms on all of our charts, but then separately we're doing focused intake chart audits. Because essentially the most important aspect and time period for what we do is that intake. That's when we do our assessments, that's when we realize who we have, what conditions they're under, and what we're dealing with. So thus far through June, we've conducted 129 intake-specific documentation audits. 129, just in our first 6 months. And we'll exceed that in our second part of the year. And also, up to June, we conducted 289 random chart audits in our first 6 months. And last year we did 444, and we'll certainly eclipse that this year. So we're awfully proud of that. And Judge, again, you mentioned the renewal. We would probably move our renewal up to match your calendar year, which will make it easier for you all to budget. But we're working on that, and our focus is to get the right people in here, the right locally based, high-performing licensed healthcare professionals in here. We would love to, if y'all have contacts with the hospital or Midwestern State, we would love to get some nursing students in here. I believe that Midwestern State University has an exclusive with the hospital to where the nursing students are going to the hospital through Midwestern State. But because we're all working and we're all serving the community, us, Midwestern State, the hospital, all of us, we would love to get to have a collaboration with them to bring just a few nursing students here. We certainly don't want to rob the hospital, but a few nursing students would make a huge difference, because we don't want agency in here. We have a team of traveling nurses within ourselves that work under our policy procedures. They're trained by us. We trust them. We know them. Again, they're doing the right things, but with agency, you don't really know what you got. So that's where we are.
I just wanted to say one thing before opening up for questions. You mentioned the chart audits, and gotten a draft report from Detain. It's not final. We'll be seeing the final one sometime in August. And court, of course, will be discussing that. But it was something that Detain applauded Core Health for as a proactive measure to improve their services and, quite honestly, to protect the inmates and to protect the county from liability issues. So that is not the norm, apparently, and it is one of the things that Detain highlighted as a good thing that Core Health is doing. So I did want to mention that since you brought it up.
Thank you, Judge.
Do we have any questions for Todd this morning? Wow. Okay.
But again, if y'all have relationships with Midwestern State or the hospital, we would love to meet with them, establish a collaborative, again, to serve the community.
And I wonder where Vernon
Yeah, VRJC's got a program too.
Mhm.
Okay,
might be one to tap into, to ask.
okay,
Yeah, Vernon College.
Yeah.
okay.
And we can certainly try to help get you connected with them if you don't already have a relationship.
Yeah, so one of the things we're doing is our focus is to go to these nursing schools, establish an MOU. Because what happens, and Romy can speak to this, Romy's our regional manager for Texas. Those who are going through nursing school are never educated. Correctional healthcare is never mentioned, ever once, as a new nurse coming in. They talk plenty about the hospital, about the clinics, and about working in the community with homeless and things like that, but correctional healthcare is something that's never spoken of in any nursing school. And so part of our goals is now to, through social media and different approaches, to go to these nursing schools, one, go to the nursing schools in person, but two, through social media, educate nurses on what correctional healthcare is, educate them on why working in the jail is absolutely the safest place for them to work. You know, one, we never do anything without an officer present. We're behind locked doors. We're always behind a camera. And in my 22 years, we've never had a nurse assaulted by an inmate, ever once. And we partner with counties that get that want to protect us and protect our team members. So.
So that's not taught anywhere outside, I mean, you
No,
just.
sir, it's not. It's not.
Interesting.
You know, we currently serve 4 states. You know, I've been doing this a long time, and I've never been to a nursing school who's ever known anything about correctional healthcare. And what we do is important. You know, it's a fact that those who are behind, those who are in your jail now are part of your community. They're likely from here. They're likely raised here, grew up here, and they might have offended here, they served their time here. They're gonna be released here. And so, to me, I think it's imperative that we serve this population now through mental health, educate them on how to be responsible for their own health care, and, you know, send them off to the community, you know, build a bridge to the community.
Might be something worthy of future discussion outside of this forum.
Mhm.
That's interesting that no one
Yeah.
offers that anywhere.
Yeah, it's really a shame, because it's a big industry, and
Yeah, it's a huge industry
it is.
and growing, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yeah. And what some don't know is actually, it's a constitutional mandate for counties to provide adequate levels of healthcare coverage and
Right.
services to inmates.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, and y'all know this, but our medical services contract is over 5% of our budget. And it's a huge piece of it. When it goes well, it protects us, and if it doesn't, it opens us up to a lot of liability. So, Todd, thank you for making the trip in and for the presentation this morning.
Next time we'll have cookies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, we don't, there's no action to be taken on that discussion item. So let's move along to general business item number 2. Discuss, consider, and/or take action to approve and ratify the minutes of the July 16, 2024 regular session.
Motion to approve is presented.
Second.
Got a motion by Commissioner Mahler, seconded by Commissioner Beecham to approve and ratify those minutes. Any questions or comments on the motion or the item? All right, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 3, review and approve the regular bills for payment, verify payroll taxes have been filed, and order county treasurer to disperse payroll and/or bills within 72 hours via U.S. mail, FedEx, UPS, or electronically, unless directed otherwise, or may be picked up and ledgered in the treasurer's office.
So,
Second.
All right, we've got a motion by Commissioner Fincannon, seconded by Commissioner Beecham to approve, verify, and disperse. Do we have any questions or comments on the motion or the item itself? All right, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 4, discuss, consider, and/or take action to approve final construction documents from Harper Perkins Architects for the Iowa Park Annex. Commissioner Matt, I see you. Do you want to go ahead and come on up, and Mr. Beecham, do you want to introduce this item?
Yeah, I can. This has been an ongoing item for quite some time. We've had multiple discussions on this. It's basically a full remodel and expansion of the existing Iowa Park Annex, which will include moving our ag agent out to Iowa Park. It will be building a kitchen, a demonstration type kitchen to teach food prep classes, et cetera, that they do within their programs. It will take care of a problem which 2 offices have to leave the building in order to go to the restroom, because there's no access to the restrooms within their suite. It does a lot of things, fixes a parking lot. It's been a lot of discussion back and forth. Even moving to a different building has been part of the discussion. I think we have a very sound plan, and I'll let Matt take it from here.
Sure. Brendan, you had that, I emailed it this morning. You might look real quick. I'll come over here so I can point. Yeah, it's been a labor of love since 2021.
A couple of years.
Yeah. At least when we first started discussing.
Now, it does finish out the end, right?
It does,
Right, yeah.
it does
Squares
add,
that building up.
add that missing
Yeah,
section.
it's like
of the building.
850 square feet to take in that last little.
Matt, while he's pulling that up, do you mind just talking timeline the rest of the way?
So timeline, you guys approved today. We've already got it set up for advertising in the paper this week and next week. I think the bid day is the end of the month with a pre-bid walkthrough in a couple of weeks. And then bidding, and it's gonna be a straight bid, not a CMAR, so we're gonna get a bunch of contractors that are willing to come in and do that just on its own. That'll take a couple of weeks to get those bids kind of situated, get it back to fourth quarter for approval. And then it takes another month or so for the back end, all the paperwork and that you guys don't see before we start turning dirt. I don't remember what the timeline was that Glenda had last sent over on that, but it was near the end of the year, November or something like that, or October, November.
I think it was October.
Yeah, okay, yeah, so, yeah. But yeah, so this is our project, as I said, the John Rivers 21-881, so we first started talking about it in 2021. Brendan, yeah, if you just want to go through, I'll just quickly. Site plan, so this has changed a little bit. We have some ADA issues, not to mention the foundation issues with the parking lot, where there's a section of parking out here that is faulted away. There are some issues with the retaining wall. In fact, we were hoping we could just repair that one part, but in looking at that, it turned out that there's no reinforcing in that retaining wall at all. So we're actually going ahead and taking out everything along the full frontage along Wall Street and back a little bit, because since that water's gotten in there, it's eroded back in, and you can actually look back in and see it. So we may not have to get into a lot on, as far as paving is concerned, at the end, but we're just going ahead and making sure that it's covered for now. But we do know we're gonna have to replace not only that retaining wall there, but then the sidewalk in front in the city right away. ADA, these don't comply under current requirements. Brendan, if you wanna go to the next sheet. So we're kind of adjusting, back one. There we go. What we decided to do is, so we have to take out, per ADA, we can't have a access ramp within the aisle. And so you can't do that. That's what they had done in the past. And so we're having to take that out, turn those back into spaces. Per our count, we only have to have 2, so we're keeping the one down here that it does comply. And then what we decided we'd do is just go ahead and add this one on the end. We could put a sign on that column and then just make the no parking access aisle just off to the side, and they can use that ramp. Because the actual access aisle is from this point over, that ramp will be okay. Anyway, so that's that, and then, as I said, the concrete sidewalk along the frontage. Go ahead and go, Brandon.
Are we getting rid of that bar over the drain?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a fun little,
Yeah.
interesting little piece there. Foundation, just, spread footings, nothing fancy. We're just kind of continuing what's going on through there. Yeah, you can keep going, Brandon. This is just structural drawings showing the foundation. You'll see at one point here, you'll see the retaining wall. You can keep going. Yeah, there's a retaining wall. Go to the next one. And we'll get to that's roof framing. Yeah, these are just details. So if we want to keep going, demo plan, this is kind of essentially what's staying are the bathrooms, the janitor area, conference room, and the tax office. That's staying with some minor modification, just to add a door, a secondary exit out if they ever need one, into the judge's office. But from there over, pretty much the rest of the building's getting gutted, and then we'll be adding in here. So Brandon, if you want to go to the next sheet. I might be able to go back. Back one.
I'm working on it.
Okay.
It's not quite there.
So yeah, if you want to zoom in just kind of on this one, this is the new plan. So as you can see, everything over is getting redone. We've got the ag folks in offices down at this end. We're squaring off this end of the building, adding that kitchen there with moving the server room over because all of that heavy equipment is here, but it's minimal. It looks like a lot, but actually it's really not that big of a deal in talking with Brendan. But yeah, so that's moving over here. Then the multi-purpose room, that will be the courtroom essentially at one end with the kitchen at the other end. And so just depending on how they're gonna use it, they'll either turn the chairs one way or turn the chairs around the
Because
other.
they use the classrooms portion in the evenings and the courtroom in the daytime, so there's no conflict.
And then the judge's suite here. And then some minor modifications in Tommy's area. Since we're gonna be redoing the flooring and most all of it, we decided just to go ahead and pull it all up. We're not touching the bathrooms in any way, shape, or form except for new lights and resurveying the mechanical, because we are updating the mechanical. It's been, I think probably since the building was done, back in 92, 93, somewhere in that those units have been there, and even the unit that was down here serving the addition in 97, 98, somewhere in that range. Still, I think some condensing units have been replaced, but anyway, we're gonna redo that because its lifespan is up. But other than that, yeah, just finishes, paint for these other areas, and all these will get new finishes as part of that.
Does that kitchen opens out into that classroom?
It does. We actually have.
It's a demonstration kitchen.
Right,
Yeah.
right, and so there'll be a large, barn style door that will roll off to the side when they decide they're gonna open that up, because we needed a large opening.
Right.
And so we're doing that.
And for people who don't know, that's done for extension and our 4-H program. They'll use that a lot
Yeah, and we work with those
Kitchen
folks.
economics.
It's not just kids, they bring in adults.
Oh, yeah, it's,
they do.
extension will
Yeah,
utilize that.
We've got added electrical out here too for their portable stations if they're gonna do a cooking
Super.
class and have things like that. They'll have that stored back in these areas in the back, so that they can just bring it through and roll it out, when they need to. But we work with those folks on laying out that kitchen and trying to get them exactly what they need. Same with the judge's suite over here. Judge's constable's office, that's all contained in this suite here, and as I said, tax assessor.
And how, Cindy's office, where would that be? Where, can they walk up to a window now?
Yes, they've got a window now right here. So you'll have the windows here for tax, and then we kind of pulled this out some so that she can have her own window right next to it.
Much more secure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she does not have to let anyone in that reception 107 unless she pushes the button and lets them come in.
Yep.
So it's a more modern security, very similar to the security features we put into the 30th, so.
When you consider that the tax and the tag and title office over there has handled probably 8 times more traffic over the last year than it was supposed to, it's really, but those guys have done a great job of putting people through there under some pretty tough circumstances, but,
Yeah.
that's gonna make that function a whole lot better.
Right.
Especially when you'll have a decreased crowd as you get back into the main building over here and over there, that's gonna work.
Right.
Yeah, and the good news is, even though we're not ready to make an announcement now, we will have an extension ag agent come September.
That's right.
So, that's coming up, the announcement will come pretty soon. So
And
we're
where will those offices be?
Those offices are here.
down on that
there?
front.
This is that suite down here.
This is gonna make our extension so much more effective because it is more what I call a storefront type deal that'll be accessible, and where they are now, I mean, I understand you gotta do with what you got, but that has not been a good scenario. Our 4-H program will headquarter out of there, and that's gonna be a much, much more workable deal. I think it'll bring a lot of activity to our
Yeah,
park.
it's gonna make a very good program even better, so.
Absolutely, it absolutely will. So we're excited about that.
That's it for the plan. Brendan, if you wanna kinda keep going, we have some just other drawings of details, wall sections, and we can just kinda blow through. I mean, you won't be able to tell much difference from the front. We are taking out that entryway that's in there now and putting in an overhead door for their larger items that they've gotta get in and out. So that's what will happen on the front end. The back side will just be, closing it off, so we'll just have new stuff in that back corner that you'll never see. Wall sections, wall sections, wall sections. Interior elevation, judge's bench, we had some discussions about what to do in that courtroom, and in going over that with Mark, we were talking about kind of trying to bring some of that ag, since it's gonna be used a lot for that too, some of that look, and bringing in like some old reclaimed weathered barn wood to use like for a wainscot around the room itself.
Right.
And then on the front, maybe using some rock. This is just showing, it looks like a split face kind of a hatch pattern in there, but it's not necessarily that. We were talking about some kind of stone or other kind of just in front of the judge's bench, and that's kind of it. We've got a number of different things that we can choose from. But just doing that for his bench, so it kind of gives a little bit more formality to where he's sitting.
Thought that said interior elevators for a second.
No,
No elevators. No elevators here, no lifts, no nothing,
This
Anyway,
facility will be also very good, like if this court wanted to have a listening session in Iowa Park, it would be a great location. for
Yeah, that multi-purpose room.
Yeah.
The benefit of doing it that way is you get much larger room for both.
Absolutely.
And it can be used for all kinds of things at that point.
Brendan, you can go on from there, and then cabinet sections and whatnot, and keep going. Yeah, same thing, details. Opening elevations, our barn door. But yeah, keep on going. Reflected ceiling plan, nothing too crazy there. Yeah, go ahead. Roof plan. Yeah. And then mechanical demolition, you can just kind of go one through at a time, unless somebody wants to stop something. It's just standard stuff, since we're kind of gutting the building, all of it's gotta be redone too, so
Yeah.
new ductwork and everything.
Yeah, the HVAC is marginal at best currently, so it's,
But it'll all be on one unit now under?
No, you'll have a total of 5 units. There were 4 there now. We were hoping to kind of use those 4, but since we're also gonna air condition those storage spaces back there because of some of the stuff that they're storing, we ended up having to add another unit to serve, especially that large room like this. We just need a little bit more air in there, so we ended up having to add another, unit to that space. So, yeah. That's essentially it. So, yeah.
Could we get a large picture of Tommy Smythe to go on the end of that?
There's an allowance for that, and I'm sure it's not anywhere near enough.
no, that's where the
What
sculpture's
are
going.
one of those fat
It
heads
shouldn't cost
things?
too much.
Shouldn't be too bad.
Matt, and there's plenty of space where you put the, JP's window to our next tax office window.
They're right up against each other. I mean, they're kind of, the way that we work that, it just, we're continuing that counter. Is, just continuing that same counter around that corner on that 45, so they are kind of right there together.
Considerably more room than there is in Burt Burnett, and
Yeah.
it works. and
Oh, yeah.
it-
Well, we'll
The
have
traffic
to
flow will be about the same in
use some
both.
good signage, good labeling, you know, and making that work, but I tell you one thing, it would have been extremely difficult to get through what we've been through in that tax office over there. And once again, they've done a tremendous number of volume and done a great job with it. Without, Tommy, what's the name of that new paging system that gives you the number?
Yeah.
We wouldn't have made it through without that. That thing really
Yes,
works
sir.
well. That was a good innovation. It made that process work. And
Yeah, and-
it'll be just as effective in this new deal as it is.
And once Tommy's up and running over there and that traffic
Yeah,
kind of.
that takes that
dies
down,
yeah.
so I'm excited to get it. It'll just provide better service, no doubt.
So, anyway.
Any questions for Matt?
And what, we got some estimates, Matt?
We had some estimates, yeah, there were some, but that's been 2 years ago, I think. I don't know, Jim, the last time that Glenda sent you something, what she was saying, but we were hovering around $1 million when we first started. Now we're more than that, but don't even know exactly what, maybe 3 or 4, 1.2, 1.3, something like that with the additional.
With the retaining wall, a
Retaining wall and
big
other things,
budget
yeah.
killer.
I was thinking, and again, it's been a while, I have
Yeah.
to pull it up, I was thinking it was 1.1, but the retaining wall was a separate item, it
Yeah.
wasn't.
Right, that's what I'm
included.
saying, yeah, so somewhere around that 1.2 area.
And what has to happen to that surface? Does it have to be peeled back in order
Yeah.
to put the retaining wall up
Right.
and tied back in?
And we won't know the full extent until we get in there. I've shown it coming out back like 24 feet, that's where the control joint is in the concrete. That's about where that one section is that needs to be torn out from looking back in there. I don't know how much is actually eroded back in behind it. So they can saw cut along that retaining wall at the start, and then we'll be able to see what's going on, and if we need to take more out, we can.
So, Matt, if I heard you correctly, you said y'all are not doing construction manager at risk for this
No,
one?
this is a straight hard bid.
So how many different, essentially different jobs are there that you're going to be bidding out, do you know?
No, I mean, you're gonna get bid from a general contractor.
Okay, you
Just-
still got one GC.
That's one
gonna-
GC, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's not, all the sub bids are coming in where we hire them on or do anything like that. This is just a straight hard bid that you would do, anywhere else.
Okay.
You just say, contractor X, Y, and Z, give me your prices, and we'll see who's got the best value for the county and go from there.
Okay. All right. Any other questions? Okay.
So, well, under that, we don't have control, any can say of subcontractors on site.
Yes, I remember correctly, Glenda's got in there about, it's the best value for the county, and
Yeah.
so there's, with qualifications, that's typically how we do those. And so we can look at those depending on who those subs are.
Okay.
There's not gonna be any county employees there at the time, the construction's going on anyway, right?
Tommy's
The tax office
Tax
will be
will be
there. But yeah, the constable and the JP folks will be offsite.
Yeah, hopefully well, we should be completely through with Tommy's area quickly, and that we won't be in the split mode that we're in right now, so.
Yeah. Yeah, by the time
Traffic will
that
drop
starts.
considerably.
We need some more sample trim pieces in Commissioner Beecham's office.
That's what I, yeah.
And they're all going to Iowa Park, that's what I'm saving them for.
Yeah.
He can nearly walk
I
to
know.
his desk
I brought him
now,
some more
so-
today,
Yeah,
actually.
that's good.
Yeah.
All right, so I guess at this time, entertain a motion to approve those final construction documents.
So moved.
Second. We're excited to have this going.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good project, much needed.
So, we've got a motion from Commissioner Beecham, seconded by Commissioner Mahler, to approve final construction documents from Harvard Perkins Architects for the Iowa Park Annex. Do we have any questions or comments on the motion or the item? All right, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Matt, thank you.
Judge, Commissioners, thank you so much. I'll
Appreciate it.
stick around.
Okay, all right, yeah, we got some other things to look at.
All right, item number 5 is receive and sign the June Treasury Report. Mr. Jones, come on up.
See if I can get my computer up there.
Nancy, do you have the report? Yeah. Or do you have the report?
got it.
Okay.
What was it?
Oh, yeah.
Did you update it, Stephen? Is that what you sent us this morning?
Yes, I sent you guys copies of the full report this morning for both of them. And then I have for you here just copies of the slides that we're gonna go through, which is basically the same thing, it's just a little bit easier to read and get the pertinent information, whereas the stuff I have to have up there is, it's all gonna be on the website. So. This signature sheet there comes around.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
It's okay, the slides will be up there. Yes.
No, it's fine.
Okay, so the Treasury report for June 2024, so we ended 3 weeks ago, so gonna refresh on all this. And I apologize ahead, I did not realize that it printed those numbers so small on the slides. Some of them are a little bit harder to read, but they're bigger on the screen, so. And you guys have the full report on your email this morning. American National Accounts, everything is pretty much running straight the way it normally does. We don't have anything big that happened. When it comes in, it goes right back out. We keep things pretty steady in there. Where we have larger balances is because we had outstanding checks to pay. And we had a little over 14,000 in interest in our American National accounts. Tax pool, we have, again, not a whole lot of activity. Most of what happened in tax pool, there was stuff coming out to do payroll. We had a couple of big things in precincts 4 and 5 and in ARPA that we paid out. In tax pool, we brought in 147,900 in interest.
And Stephen,
Yes.
remind me, I think you talked about this a couple of months ago. Is there a certain allocation between text pool and class that you're trying to
I'm
hit,
trying to-
or is it?
Yeah, I'm trying to get them basically even.
Okay.
When I wrote down the interest rates, they fluctuate between the two of them, maybe a hundredth of a percent.
Okay.
So the interest is pretty negligible difference. And the main reason for differentiating is just to have some diversification there.
Okay.
And tax pool and Texas class both invest our money in different things. So there's a little bit difference in risk between the two of them, but not a whole lot. It's just to kind of hedge our bets on which one
And class is a little easier for you to access.
Class is a lot easier for me to access, especially right now with some issues we have with the text pool, so.
Okay.
So for the moment, I've been using the text pool ones until we get them basically even between the ones we have for both. And then it'll kind of go between the two.
Okay.
So already in July, I've used Texas class more than text pool. So we're getting closer to even on those. And there's our Texas class. You can see we didn't have any deposits or withdrawals other than interest in Texas class because I didn't move anything out of there until the first week of July.
We're still bringing in $250,000 of interest every month.
Yeah, we're doing $275,541 in interest, which is actually down a little bit. I think 3 months ago we were over 300,000. But the reason we're going down is because we have lower balances because we're spending our money now. So the interest rates haven't really dropped. It's just that the total balances are going down because we're paying out. And speaking of that, there's our total cash between American National, Text Pool, and Texas Class. You can see the gray line there. We're pretty much right on trend with last year. The reason, again, why we're lower is because we're spending ARPA money. That's not refreshing itself. So we're looking good there. I think everything from about, when was that? July of 22 is from then until now, we're pretty much right on trend with everything.
And right now, I think this is a question that I think for you, maybe Cheryl can answer it. The ARPA interest we are keeping in the ARPA. We're
Mhm.
keeping it separated until we get done with ARPA, and then we'll,
Yes.
okay.
That way, in case they say this project is not allowable, we can just use that ARPA interest to backfill it.
Okay.
And then once ARPA's done, we can move it over to general fund.
Yeah, with the ever-changing rules of ARPA, it's
Right.
just a layer of security.
We are on the 8th or 9th definition of the word obligate
Yeah.
since November. Apparently, they don't have a Webster's dictionary.
So, federal government's fine.
Change the rules from time to time.
They're constantly changing the rules, which makes it really hard to manage those rules as we're heading towards the end obligation deadline, so.
Just out of being safe, we want to, I mean, they say that ARPA money the interest is going to be usable at some point, but we don't want to put it into anywhere but with ARPA until things are final.
So the ending balances for ARPA in both accounts reflects all of the accrued interest at this
Mhm.
point?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
Let's see. The only other note I had on here is our overall balance decreased 3.8 million. And if you look at the last 2 years, it did the same. Well, not in 22 because I think we had a tranche from ARPA hit in June that year.
Yep.
But 23 and 24 was almost identical amounts that we spent in June, or that our balance decreased. Major expenditures for general operating checking accounts. We have, again, as we see every month, it's always the jail stuff is our biggest expense besides payroll. Other stuff that we know is coming, there's the, I think, quarterly Tyler.
Quarterly Tyler,
And then-
quarterly appraisal district.
Yeah, and then the other ones are
Big autopsy bill.
jail, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, we did, and then there's the renovation stuff and what's the other one that's gonna point out? I forget the others. But mostly same stuff we've been doing, and this time of year is when different projects are getting done, so different money's coming out.
Do you think this is a first to have an individual attorney make the list?
I usually try to take those out, I'm sorry about that. Which one did I miss?
Todd Greenwood.
Todd Greenwood.
Okay,
It's fine, I mean, it's
Yeah, I
all things
missed that one.
considered, it's a small number, but.
we have several that are right on that line. I try to keep, for general fund, I try to keep it above 5,000. Just because there's a lot of checks come out of general fund that are a lot lower than that, so for the sake of not staring at page after page, try to keep it above 5,000. So.
No, and it's good, because it provides the court a good general point in time picture of
Yeah,
what we're.
and I had thought about putting all the legal fees into one line on here, but I would need to contact Margaret to give me those names so that I could do that, and she's got a lot on her plate right now, so. haven't done that. I'm just
That
not,
would be interesting to see.
Hmm?
That would be interesting to see what
yeah,
we're
They pay a month, legal fees for what?
it's a lot, yeah.
An
We pay a
awful
lot between the indigent defense and all the charity stuff that we do.
Mm-hmm. There's quite a few every week.
I wouldn't do it every month, but at least once a year would be nice. just-
Well, and
Yeah.
it's funny, I mean, it's one of the things I've asked for in a couple of different specifics as part of the budget creation process, so
Mhm.
I'll just add that for the presentation and we can, cause it's a big piece. and it's
It
a
is.
piece
Yeah, that's a piece we can't do anything
we have no
about.
control
Mhm.
over.
And for everyone that's wanting to do away with taxes and everything, how we
Yeah.
define that, so
It's, you gotta pay attention
we've
to
got
that
to pay
stuff.
for it.
That's only the right thing. For the precincts, major fund, or major expenditures, that one I do a little bit lower, we do 500 and up. Um, Not including payroll and transfers. So you guys probably know these better than I do, but, mostly regular stuff. There's the one big, expenditure in precinct 5. I think some other stuff was, checks were sent out for bigger amounts, but hadn't cleared the bank yet, so those aren't on here yet.
What is shared corporation?
It's that, Hardner.
Oh, okay. I didn't.
Which has gone up considerably.
Yeah, it's gone up high.
Yeah, even since I've been here looking at these, I've seen the invoices to the same people increase quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now give me the list that's gone down. It's
Yeah.
not very long. It's not very long.
Not very many.
That even the newer emulsion is a little higher and makes those bills big.
Okay, long-term debt, we're almost gonna have a change, not quite yet. Same as before, in August, we should have that, $825 fee coming out for maintenance. And then in, September, we've got our LAC payment. So this one, I'm actually gonna have to do work on this slide next time. And that's all of that. So any questions over any of those?
What, do you know that balance in that, for INS, Stephen,
For-
what's there?
Yeah, for, in
As
Texas
it
class,
sta-
I've got,
sits today.
I've got 2.6 in, Texas class and almost 1 million in, text pool. And I try not to keep a balance in the bank account for those, cause I know exactly when those payments are going out, so try to keep those in the pools as much as possible. Yeah, I did the excited dance when we hit the number for, we've got enough in the accounts to pay the next 2 payments, so.
Yeah. All right, do we have any questions or comments on the June Treasury report?
Well done.
Okay, thank you, sir. I guess you stay right there for
Stay
the
right
next
there.
item.
Pull up my other PowerPoint. It's
Which
a little
is-
bit different blue.
Receive the investment report for second quarter 2024. Mr. Jones.
And again, the full report is on your email from this morning. And what I realized after going through and making that full report was that there's a lot of stuff required in the investment policy to be in there. But the more you look at it, it's just more and more numbers. They get more and more, it says a lot to look at all at once. So I went through with the PowerPoint and made it so that there's highlighting the main stuff that you guys always ask about that's more interesting. Both of them are gonna be on the website, so it's gonna be transparent and it will all be out there. But for the purposes of presenting in here, it's just a little bit easier to go this way. And again, I'm sorry about the size of the numbers on this page. They're tiny, I can barely read them myself, so.
They're pretty visible on the email, though.
Yeah, they're good on the email. And they're bigger on the boards, so. First thing is portfolio by sector. So this is where our money is. We've got 8 items, 8 CDs, for a total of 10.25 million. And those are over, at the 6/31, they were at, I'm sorry, 6/30, there's only 30 days. We had 3 different banks we had CDs in. US Treasury bill, that is a kind of an unusual item that we had. Actual balance was around 612,000. And that was at First United. Agency bonds, we have 19,520,000 there. Those are all through Cetera, and then we have that one municipal bond for Missouri for 15,000. By fund, the majority of our investments are the general operating fund. We have some out of reserve for self-insurance. And we looked briefly at seeing what we could do with some of the other funds we have, but most of those have stuff coming up that's going to spend, and we don't want to put any long-term restraints on that. So we're trying to get mostly, it's basically going to stay what it is. Self-insurance, we've got the Brazoria municipal for 15,000. That's going to be mature in September, so that'll officially come off next time. We're going to go ahead and cash that out, and that'll just go into the money market for self-insurance. And the others in self-insurance don't come mature until 2026, so that'll be on here for a while. For the portfolio by maturity, I wanted to look at it a little bit easier to see, so I broke it down by quarter, as opposed to having every item on there for the year, so we can see a little bit more of what we're trying to do with laddering this to come out. And if you look at it this way, you can see there's times where we have nothing that's matured, like third quarter of 2025. Knowing how our money works, that's kind of when we're starting to be cash poor. So having nothing mature then is kind of odd. So we're working on that. If I took these numbers and I put it on a line graph, it looks like this, which I don't see any discernible pattern here. And it certainly isn't a strong ladder position for us to be in.
So ideally, you would like to see that line be
What I'd like for it to look like is this.
Okay. Not bad.
Where we have
Pat.
Yeah.
Good pattern.
it's better because we have less money coming mature to us when we have more money in our bank accounts, and more money coming mature and available to us when we have less money in our bank account. So if there's something happens and we need it, it'll be coming available for us then. So that's what we're trying to go for. Also, this goes out 4 years. I'm kind of hoping that would be cut in half. I don't really want us to have anything more than 24 to maybe 30 months. So just 2 of those lines instead of all 4. But, the other one was 4, so I kind of wanted to show a pattern. But going from this where we are now to this where I'd like to be, that's kind of the long-term goal as things come mature and we're able to make changes. So coming up for third quarter, we have 4 items coming due. The First United Bank, we had a CD for $1 million, and then a T-bill I mentioned earlier. Those are both already mature, and they're actually both already in our general operating account. So went down and cashed those out. We have a federal home loan bond that is maturing on the 26th. That's also going to come out and go into the account, and then that municipal comes mature on 9/1, and we'll pull that out. What we'd like to do is take those that have come mature and then add some from our tax pool or Texas class and put $3 million into a 12-month. I shopped that around to several different areas, and the best we came was a 5% CD for 12 months. And what that'll do is plug that big hole there in third quarter 2025. So we'll actually have something coming available to us then.
That CD rate's cooled just a little, hasn't it?
It has a little bit. Yeah, because we've been getting about 5.25, 5.5.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Compared to what it's been, it's not bad at all. So
Why did we purchase that muni in such a small amount?
It's a Bob question.
That
Okay,
was
that's before.
It's a
That's a
Bob.
bond.
that's
thing, or-
been there since I think
That's
2021.
an
I think was then that was purchased.
It's almost all of this where you see the spikes and stuff that's all Bob.
Okay.
Yeah, we like I said, that's not ideal. I don't think you'll go to an investment class and see them do this.
No.
But So, but that's what we have, and we're working with it, and we're doing it as best we can. We can't just sell it all and start new, because we would lose money on it.
Yeah, the penalty would be
But you know, you
severe.
take that major spike out of the middle, and that gets a lot closer to what
Yes.
you
Yes.
were really looking at. That
Mhm.
makes it look a lot kinder.
Yeah, it does. And I'm sure there were, you know, good reasons that he had or whatever, but
Well, and then now you're talking about you've got a goal and a plan. with
yeah,
everything
that's what,
behind it, and
we
that's
have what we have, but what we'd like to do is move forward and do an intentional plan of how we want it to go. That's kind of what we're working on.
Okay. And we're kind of out of order. We usually meet before we do this, and we're not meeting till today, I think.
Yeah, we're gonna talk right after this. Some people were out and some people had other things, and
It'll be fresh on everyone's
Yeah.
minds.
Make the meeting much shorter.
yeah, make it shorter, because if you've got any questions, everybody, you're welcome to ask now. If there's anything else you'd like me to get to you, then I'm happy to do that too, so.
Have any questions about the investment report?
Good report.
Looks good.
All right. Steve, thank you very much.
He's worked really hard on getting us out of that crazy position we've been in.
Yeah. No, looks good.
My brain doesn't like things that don't have any kind of discernible pattern, so.
Well, in fairness to Bob, that economy that he was trying to operate in was
Wacky.
at best.
That's a very challenging time.
It's not good, no.
There really weren't any great options.
I still don't understand a 15,000 unit.
And nobody
Yeah.
at the
I
time.
don't know, maybe he had a friend that they were trying to do something with and he thought it would be enough.
There were two. There was another one that was, I think, 25,000.
Yeah, there was a second one and it's done, thankfully.
Of course, that's when Pool wasn't paying anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, back then it was a struggle to figure out where you might even wanna, I mean, yeah, I'm not saying anything bad about Bob, cause there was
There wasn't
no
a lot.
money to
Yeah,
be made
it's
out there in
almost worth it to
investment.
just leave it in your bank account.
Yeah,
What's the old saying, squeeze blood from a turnip? That's
Right.
what that was.
All right, any questions on that?
No.
no.
Okay, then let's move on to discuss, consider, and/or take action to set the holiday schedule for the calendar year 2025. I think everyone should have the table of those dates. These dates, Nancy, correct me if I'm wrong, these dates do match the judicial calendar holidays that they proposed as well, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I will bring up one item for discussion, and it's a question that I think I remember us talking about this time last year, but around Christmas time, with Christmas Day falling on a Thursday, there's a question of do we want to, instead of the day after Christmas being a holiday, make Christmas Eve a holiday, or keep it in line like it is presented here with the judicial schedule of Thursday and Friday being Christmas holiday.
Thursday and Friday. 'Cause if we change it the other way, everyone's gonna take off Friday anyway. To get a long weekend.
Judge,
Yes, ma'am.
my other idea was to move Columbus Day down to either that Wednesday or Friday.
And so do away with the Columbus Day holiday and move that day to December 24th.
Christmas Eve.
I think that makes sense.
That's the state model.
Hmm?
That's the state model on Thanksgiving.
Oh, on Wednesday before
Well, you
Thanksgiving?
get the day of, judge the day after,
Oh, yeah.
on Thanksgiving.
We do that.
It's not the first time this Columbus Day has been kind of floated around. I think a lot of your county employees would enjoy 2 days of Thanksgiving.
Well, this
We do
this
that.
one has 2 days of Thanksgiving proposed.
We're talking about 3 days at Christmas.
Yeah, we'd be moving it to make 3 days of Christmas.
3 days.
Well, does that Columbus Day create a problem for, like, Tommy with your tags, or, I mean, is there something we're not looking outside our front door?
All the banks, are they closed Columbus
That's a
Day?
good question.
And post office?
No, but you know, your banks, your financial institutions cannot be closed any more than 3 days in a row anyway,
Right.
so I mean, that's, I know Columbus Day comes up as one of these days in general conversations. If somehow or another we could reinvent that somewhere else in this holiday formula, because it's just a Columbus Day on a Monday, I mean.
And schools don't even give that date.
No.
That
Sometimes
probably
they
is
do,
a
and
better
sometimes they
idea to do
don't.
it on that Wednesday.
Some schools do, some don't.
Let's see if it's, so Columbus Day is a federal bank holiday.
Yes.
Some states don't recognize it. I mean, ultimately, this is our choice. The issue we run into there is if it doesn't match up with the judicial calendar, does that mess anything up? Now, that week's not a jury week anyway, because it's supposed to be a holiday week. Neither is Christmas week, so I don't think it's a huge deal if we deviate from it a little bit, but. And I mean,
Most people are gonna take off on that Wednesday anyway. I can tell you right now, you'd be money ahead, productivity ahead to make it a 3-day.
Well, I think there's just more and more people that have their Christmas celebration on Christmas Eve. You know,
That
that's more of a
means the courthouse will be
tradition.
closed right after
20
Commissioner's
years
Court
ago.
on
Yeah.
Tuesday.
well,
Just take off the entire month of December.
Right.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That wasn't a motion. That was a wisecrack. That was not a motion.
sometimes we can't tell the difference.
Yeah, I know. I get it. I get it. Yeah. I get it.
It does even more back end and imbalance the schedule, but your point's valid that most people are going to be, a lot of people will be taking off Christmas Eve, using vacation time or whatever for it anyway. So.
In this
Or-
case, I think our employees would appreciate the extra day at Christmas time.
Okay.
I don't think it works out like way every year, but.
Yeah, when Christmas falls on a Friday, for example, or a Monday, then
Yeah.
it's different. But
Yeah, I think in this case, our staff would appreciate the extra day at Christmas.
And anytime you can turn one of those into a long weekend, it always helps, makes it better.
Now, somebody's got a trip planned for October the 13th.
well, they've got 18. They've got 16 months to plan for
Yeah,
it.
that's
So.
right.
Yeah.
Um,
You don't have your Columbus Day celebration planned, Mark?
I'll probably go buy a refrigerator or something.
As far as the list for, we've got wall pins and stuff that come in the first couple
We'll
days.
have to just schedule that in advance, and we check the banking holidays for payroll, cause that's a payroll week as well.
As long as we have time to
So
have
banks will be open
a meeting and
Christmas
the list
Eve,
approved.
yeah.
so that is a payroll week in 2025. Okay. Well, I mean, again, we've got a long time to plan and figure out what we're going to do, as each department is affected by it. So is
So
that
do
an
you need a
official? Is
motion?
that an official motion?
Yeah,
Do you
I'll
need
make
a-
that motion.
I'll
Or,
second.
or you can make the motion, and I'll second.
So Commissioner Beecham has made a motion to set the holiday schedule for the calendar year 2025 as laid out here, with one modification: to remove the Monday, October 13th day as a holiday and move that and make Wednesday, December 24th a holiday in 2025. Is that right?
That's correct.
And Commissioner Fincannon seconded that motion. We have any other discussion on the holiday schedule for 2025? Okay, then that motion is before us. Well, sorry, let me back up. That motion's before us. Any other questions on the motion or the, okay, so now that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion passes 5-0. Just let me make sure that anyone who's watching, this is for 2025. No changes to the 2024 schedule, but 2025 holiday schedule is adopted. All right, item number 8, discuss, consider, and/or take action to approve Warren Cat quote 287633-02 in the amount of $376,029.32 for a Caterpillar motor grader for precinct number 3 with $100,000 paid from Fund 223 and the remainder paid with a lease from First Bank pending attorney review. Commissioner Mahler?
Judge, let's amend that to paying for the total amount and strike the lease agreement. The reason being that we've got some questions about leases, and we're gonna have to come up with a program, because you get a board quote on a piece of equipment, but we don't have we need to make sure we're on solid ground with those, and that would simplify that thing. So what that would turn into would be a cash buy, the 376,029.32. And I'd strike everything from behind 223, the last line about the deal, and I'd make a motion to approve.
All right, so let's make sure I understand that correctly.
Right.
Your motion would be to approve the same quote in that same amount for precinct number 3 with $376,029.32 paid from Fund 223, period.
Period. That's basically it.
Okay.
And just a caveat, we do need to work on getting our language together on those lease deals, make sure we're on solid ground. If we can do that, this will be fine. We're gonna have funds coming back from our trade-in on this deal, which will lower that a lot, so I think we'll be able to function.
Okay.
Have you taken possession, Barry?
No,
Okay.
no. We need to get it done. He's been holding it for us for a while.
And if we can clean up that other one.
Yeah, we'll get it, we're gonna get that underway quick as we get through with this paving deal. We'll have it ready to go and get that done.
All right, so got a motion by Commissioner Muller. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Second by Commissioner Beecham to approve the quote and pay for it fully from Fund 223. Do we have any questions or comments on the motion or the item?
Judge, I was gonna just say that I thought of that, co-op and it's Sourcewell.
Sourcewell, okay.
That was the one I couldn't remember.
What
That's the
Commissioner
one
Watts
we're
is-
operating under on this deal.
Most of the time.
Sourcewell.
Yeah, I had a question to Commissioner Watts yesterday about the John Deere, a lot of our purchases of big heavy equipment and bidding requirements being met, and that's what he's talking about is under the Sourcewell contract. All right, so we've got that motion by Commissioner Mahler, seconded by Commissioner Beecham. Any questions or comments on the motion or the item? Okay, that motion is before us. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item number 9, receive update on courthouse renovations and county courthouse annexes. Commissioner Beecham?
30th District, they've completed the ceiling details. Looks fantastic.
Does.
I say that every week, but it looks really good. They'll be moving on to the drywall in the offices and everything next. Tommy's area at the annex is nearing completion. They're doing the detail work now, installing furniture. That's moving quickly, probably another month and a half. 2 months, just to give us leeway time, and we'll be done.
For September 15th, we'll be in there for October.
Okay, well, we're pushing. I believe it'll happen. I mean, there's not that much left to do. So it's detail work now. The original courthouse project is still the additions that we've added, flooring on the 4th floor, et cetera. Still trying to select the correct paint for the exterior, the rec yard. We've gone through several different samples that haven't been correct, so trying to get there and get that done. But everything else is.
The pecan tree looks great.
Around with the concrete work.
Oh yeah, looks really nice. Everything's looking, as far as the stuff that Ricky's staff's doing, fantastic.
Cleaning that thing up very,
Yeah, everything.
very nice.
I have had a couple of folks, just members of the general public, come up and commented on how good the outside, especially, I mean, the side has come in well on the south side. Made comments about it's looking good. Ricky, your guys are to be commended.
Yeah,
too.
very much so.
Good work.
Very, very much so. And of course, they're at the annex right now doing some details themselves that we took outside the contract and we could do them much more economical, so. Much more. So, Yeah, the rig staff is amazing, so that's really all I have.
Okay. Any questions on that item?
I'll be
Okay.
reporting on Iowa Park before long.
Yeah. All right, it is 11:15 and court is adjourned.